Steve Harville with Creative Ventures, and welcome to the latest edition in our story series, Did You Know? I want to talk a little bit about corporate culture. It gets written about all the time. It often gets moved in the great corporate ledger sheet from hard skill sets to the soft side of things. They find it difficult to take something that kind of is subjective and give it an objective value. It's the wrong place for culture. Culture is about the DNA of your company, of your people, of how they see and relate their product and service to their clients and to each other. Over the 35 years of Creative Ventures, we have done a number of culture projects. We've been on teams that have created culture from scratch and adjusted culture as companies have gone along. Each time we've worked on a project like that, I'm shocked at how good the company becomes. So that's what this story is. It starts in a tiny town in the northwestern part of Ohio called Van Wert, Ohio. And it's there that a 144-year-old billion-dollar property and casualty insurance company calls home. Central Insurance is a client of ours, so let me be straight about that right out of the gate as I tell this story. It doesn't really impact the story, but I want to be straight with everybody on it. Central Insurance at the time of this video is run by a guy named Bill Permort. Bill's announced his retirement. He's ready to turn the reins over to the next generation of insurance professionals led by his son, Evan. This story, though, happens in 2017. Now, in a town just north of Van Wert, there's a supercell thunderstorm that occurs. It drops 7 to 9 inches of rain in 1 hour. Now, the campus of Central Insurance in Van Wert is this beautiful, idyllic, rolling green, manicured lawns, beautiful flowers hanging from the light fixtures, and a creek that runs through the area. At about 2:30 that afternoon, just before Memorial Day weekend, the maintenance crew noticed the creek that runs around the property is rising at a very rapid rate, something they hadn't seen before. By 4 o'clock, it was flooding the employee parking lot, and all the employees were called together and said, go home, get your cars out while you can. Pretty soon it's going to be impassable. The waters continued to rise, and surprisingly, some employees went home, but those that went home only went home to bring back help. Many of the employees just stayed. And what they thought was, what can we do to help this process? Because as the water was rising, it was pretty clear it was going to head into the building, the brand new beautiful wing of the office structure that they have on their campus. Now it's at 4 o'clock, and the line of employees, of team members in this culture at Central are doing sandbags, creating, shoveling, sweating, dripping in dirt. They keep going, trying to block the water as it's heading towards the structure. The Red Cross drives by, sees this going on, brings pizzas to help serve everybody that's there. People aren't going home. People are committed to saving what's there of that building. Now, it's 7 o'clock. The water's continuing to rise. It's now breached the sandbags and it's in the building. Help, there are fish inside the building. That's how fast the water was rising. Now, what happens here is they have to force the employees to go home. We've lost the battle. The first floor is gone. None of them want to leave. They want to stay and do whatever they can to help. But for their safety and everything else, they're sent home. But the IT guys stay. The IT guys go in and start moving computer equipment, shifting ground floor offices to the second floor. They work virtually all night. The next day, the parking lot's flooded. There's no way for any of the employees to get there. Because Central is such an integral part of the community in Van Wert, in the arts and in charity and in education, the two car dealerships take their vans, their transportation vans, donate them to the Central people. They park it in a way lot at a church, and the vans shuttle people back and forth, getting them to work, because everyone that was there the night before, everyone that was sweaty and dripping in sand, everyone was back to work the next morning. Now, this kind of element tests a culture. Cultures are normally tested by adversity, but they can also be tested by prosperity. What happens when the chips are down? What happens when people need to come together? We live in a time right now that's testing the very bones of most cultures. Well, Central doesn't have to worry about that. Their people are prepared because they live in a culture that isn't a unicorn culture. Unicorn cultures are cultures that have their mission statements on the wall and people walk in and they read them, but that's all they are. Instead, culture is like a tool, like a hammer. And anytime a situation is pulled out that challenges anything in the status quo, the hammer culture goes to their values, their beliefs, how they tie together every day. So think about working on your culture. Think about examining the aspects of it as it connects to your people. And if you do it right, at 7 o'clock on a stormy night, your team will be lifting sandbags. Thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you next time on the next story we've got on the Did You Know series.